speaker is Dr. Matt Hsin. He has been to Pakistan before, I think Liaquat National Hospital, and he's going to talk about the evolution and outcomes in bipartition surgeries.
Okay, excellent. Thanks for all friends. I'm Matt from Taiwan. So, for hearing the today's topic, I always had a feeling that when surgeons choose their surgery, it's like choose his wife or husband. Sometimes it got reason, sometimes it don't. But most important thing is he love it. But my opinion is, you must understand your wife. When she go crazy, you must understand how to deal with that. You always need to get a plan B for this kind of situation. So different country got different asking choice, but I always think every operation, every procedure got a reason to be performed. So it's not about high or low, right or wrong. Just love what you choose and understand how good they are. Okay. So in my part, I was talking about some sleep plus procedures. Sometimes it's really something new for the surgeons. But what I want to say, why we need to talking about this kind of section in this topic, I have to say the situation we found in Taiwan. In Taiwan, in 2024, we performed around 7,700 operations on total island, but you can see the number. The trend change. In our idea, the most popular surgery will always be sleep, but you can see the sleep only in 600. But you see the succeed and the sleep with PJB, it become more prominent in our medical society. It got reasons. So you can see the trends in the recent 10 years. With the increase in the volume of the total medical society of bariatric surgery, you see the number of sleep dropped. But it's not got reason to make the surgeons in Taiwan do the behavior changing. So it's go back to the most popular surgery we perform, like sleep. Actually, there's always a gap. Like sleep is popular, easy to learn, and although hard to master, but it could immediately offer good result for your patient. But in the long run, everybody knows it's not sufficient. But when you choose another procedure like a right gauge bypass or OAGB, it's good, but the problem is it's too good. Really, in the long run, although patient get weight loss, but eventually sometimes you need to face the malnutrition issue or dumping issue or bioreflux issue. So especially in Asia, like the Pacific region, like Korea, Japan, Taiwan, actually we are high incidence region about gastric cancer. So once you choose the bypass surgery, then you lose the chance to survey the stomach. So why the doctors in Taiwan change? Because there's always some need to be met. So we want to try to find some balance between the sleep and the right gauge bypass, and anything we could do to improve our things. So I think that's the reason we're talking about the evaluation about the sleep plus. For me, I think what is sleep plus is sleep with some bowel bypass. It's very, very simple. So I don't think it's a new technique. I think it should be a new idea. So this kind of sleep hub did not appear from nothing. It's not a new technique. I think we gradually found some balance operation got this kind of character. So since the 2000, after the bariatric surgery become more popular, in different countries like Dr. Alamo from Chile and Sanchez from Spain and Santoro from Brazil, all the doctors found that there should be something could be make some balance between the sleep and the right gauge bypass. So at that time, they developed this kind of surgery. Initially, this kind of surgery is developed to decrease the burden, decrease the technical difficulty about right gauge bypass, but it gradually become improved and like the current picture we see. Like a transit bipartition, because the Santoro, they found there should be something, some anatomical gut hormone change could drive a better result. So you do the sleeping with the power intervention, and then gradually be modified like SASI. And in the Pacific region, like Taiwan, like Korea, we developed another kind of method. It's very similar to the studies. It's almost developed in a very similar period, but in technically in different kind of method of do the duodenum and the small bowel bypass. Like Japan, Kasama, he do a root-wide fashion, jejunum and the duodenum bypass. In Taiwan, CK do the loop, one anastomosis, jejunum, duodenum bypass. So, like in Taiwan, currently, this is the most popular sleep plus operation currently in our medical society. The left side is the PJB. Now we rename it the bowel shortening because we skip middle part of small bowel, make the total bowel length shorter. And the SASI is a remodification from the SASI. He adjusts some angle about the GJ anastomosis. That's one side high, one side low. Because the developer want to use this kind of method to decrease the bile reflux. So I think as we think, if we look at about the concept about sleep plus surgery, actually it could be divided in two groups. I think the one is exclude the duodenum, another one preserve the duodenum. So if we see the picture of this kind of operation, they all share a very similar character. All of them preserve the pylorus. So you could ideally, you could decrease the dumping, decrease the marginal ulcer, and you got an intact sleep, so you could still do a lot of survey for your stomach. So, like that, pylorus, why is so important? Because it controls emptying, so less dumping. I think less change eating behavior in the future. So there's some question talking about why studies and the SASI were different in the long run way. I think a different kind of eating behavior should be play some role inside result. But currently, as we could see, the most four popular in the concept of sleep plus, we could say studies, SASI, and PJB or sleep with DJB. So that one studies actually this kind of operation developed is do a sleep and do the cutting of duodenum and do the anastomosis to a small bowel. But I think in very development, they eventually found the residual bowel. That means the bowel between the colon to the duodenum played a major role in the long-term weight loss and metabolic effect. But something we have to try is if you exclude the duodenum once the patient got the CBD duct or gallstone, sometimes you're in trouble. Sometimes this kind of operation could not do an ERCP again. But like another operation, so like in Japan, owing to the gastric cancers issues, they could not accept the right gastric bypass or OHB in their culture. So they do the preserve of pylorus ring, try to make the surgeon could able to keep survey on their gastric cancer issue. Okay, so like say this duodenal access actually is a trade-off. I think it's very fair. You want to more metabolic effect, you have to pay something more. But since you do the things, I think the long run, the metabolic issue or weight loss or nutrition issue, you have to pay more attention about this patient. Another thing is SASI. Actually, there's some study they want to understand after the SASI, how many food go to the duodenum, how many food go to the jejunum. Actually, it's around 4:1. They do a scintigraphy for a revision case on the bipartition case because some patient developed malnutrition. They do a scintigraphy. They found actually around 20% food go to the duodenum, majority go to the ileum. So, but I think SASI is really a nice and a beautiful operation. Why? It works. It works very well, and not easy to learn. So in this kind, it decrease a lot of barrier for the surgeon. You could use this kind of new method, you technology to do something good for your patient. But I think for balance the metabolism and the preserve endoperic access, I think is the major purpose for this kind of operation. And now in our center in Taiwan, the most operation we do is we call the proximal jejunal bypass. Another name is a small bowel shortening with sleep gastrectomy. So actually, in the around 2016, we introduced this kind of operation into Taiwan and slowly, gradually to perform it step by step. But now this operation almost dominated our 90% of our daily practice. So that's just like the Carlos said. Why you apply this kind of operation in all your patients? Because it works. Because it works. In the low BMI 28, 30, 31, even to a 58, all this kind of operation works. I think Carlos should have a very similar feeling about it. I don't know how to say indication because it works in every patient. That's the answer. So in Taiwan, in the recent two reports, we said now the bowel shortening, the PJB and the SASI become a major part of our operation. So you can see the detail. With the rise in the total surgical volume and the sleep bypass drop every year. So in nowadays, almost half the operation in the Taiwan Medical Society will be sleep plus surgery because the result push the patient choose this kind of operation, not surgeon. It's patient's choice. So how about result? Actually, outcome is not bad. I think sometimes for me, for the 5 years or 10 years result is the holy grail for the surgery, for surgeon. If a surgery could last in 5, 10 years, it means something. It to offer something good for your patient, for the surgeons. So right now for advance, we got a 10 years study in the SASI, in the SADIS, and 5 years in the sleep with DJB and the PJB. But the PJB, the 5 years not reported yet. Oh, let me share the good weight loss, But as it been Javed asking why SADIS weight loss seems not superior than SASI. I think there's another issue about the gastrointestinal anastomosis. This kind of bypass sometimes to have some different kind of effect on the eating behavior in the future. But in the race like Taiwan, the 2 years result, the total weight loss still be able to get around 34, even to 40%.
So Matt, we have got 5 minutes.
Okay, so then we turn to the last. So whatever, I think I don't have to read all the papers or the numbers here. I think all this kind of operation, most of them, 2 of them have the 10-year result. So it's a new procedure. It's worth to consideration, but that is really difficult. DJB too difficult. So I think SASI or the small bowel shortening, I think in the future will play a very important role in our daily practice. So I now read this kind of number. So I go to the last for the video. Oh, the second thing, the bowel limb length. Actually, in my this 10 years feelings is that after the sleep plus operation comes, me gradually understand that actually the bowel length dominate the weight loss and the metabolic effect. So as you can see, for the development of this kind of procedure, when they try to trim or try to revise the operation, they always focus on the bowel length adjustment. So I think my point is that nowadays in our center, we routinely count every patient's bowel length. So we found that in our patient, usually the bowel length around is nearly 7 meters. Taiwanese, we are not very tall. But interestingly, if patient got diabetes, they tend to get a longer bowel. Very, very interesting. Sometimes it got a relationship to a body height, but not always. But there is something talking about how much bowel you should bypass. I think some measure I want to share is different kind of country, different kind of patient, different kind of method, all different. So even the same SASI performed in a different kind of country, you should have your own protocol decided by your food, decided by your patient. It's not a fixed rule. It's something I want to share for here. So I think in the last, I could share the video. That's the things what we are doing every day. My mouse. So I think it's around a 6-minute video. Just skip. So actually it's nothing. We do a sleeve in the beginning and then shorten the small bowel. And we shorten the mid part, create a blind loop. So we have always been asking, you create a blind loop, you will get the blind loop phenomenon. Sorry, no. From the Munir's report, from our report, we very, very rare encounter diarrhea. I think there's two reasons, because the design of bowel moving. For the patient of the bowel movement, there's no residual fluid go back and stasis over the blind loop. So I think this kind of things that the reason why I was talking about we don't have a diarrhea issue. So let's imagine we do the sleeve, but I something want to share is hiatus. It's another thinking we recently 10 years where we found the GERD actually I think is an anatomic issue. It's not a functional issue. When patient got a weight loss, you definitely got a big hiatus and the migration comes. So now in our center we routinely do the prophylaxis chloroplasty for every patient, because the most 95 patients got a GERD A, GERD B in the beginning when you do the panoscope. So we do the repair in the first stage. So the result seems good, because in the yearly 1 year report we found the report talking about type by the report is GERD A. We rarely to see a GERD B or GERD C after this kind of repair. So I think another part is we divide the left side, right side, left side closed, then we open from the mid part. I think for the reference, this is our daily practice. We open it and expose the V-shaping and suture it. So usually we let the make the lower part of esophagus become naked. We put it down around 2 to 3 centimeters. Make sure the sphincter muscle is inside abdominal cavity, not inside the thoracic cavity. You know you will definitely got a migration in the future. So use an non-absorbed VLAC to the continuous suture. Sometimes it seems crazy, but actually that's what we're doing every day. So we remove part of fat pad part, keep some vessel supply here. Okay, this lower part is being put down. We got the OG tube and the test, it can be passed through. So we do the cutting. In Taiwan, we tend to like a lower BMI after surgery. Our ladies asking their weight after surgery around 22, 23. So usually our cutting from the pyloric ring is around 4 centimeters. We do a marking, do the cutting. So again, away from your incisura is dangerous. Don't make it narrowing. Be sure make a straight cutting. That's the things we do for. Another crazy thing, we use calculation. Yeah, we do it, it's fine. Some papers already said it actually safe, but you had to carefully do the calculation. Don't kill your staples. Over here, we do a fixation on the posterior to prevent the twist, torsion in the future. Okay, the sleep part. Then we move to a small bowel. Again, we pull up the colon and find the tries. We count the whole small bowel. I didn't write tries ligament. So nowadays, our routine is 100 from the beginning, 100 in the end. So we count it. Then do the cut. So after the calculation, then we'll move to the end of the colon. Okay, enterotomy. So it's the part to the duodenum, proximal part. Then this part later will be bound a blind loop. Then we move to the colon side. We count reversely for another 150 centimeters. Sometimes the method counting back is tricky. It's hard because when a patient very high BMI, actually the bowel is very heavy. So you must carefully do the counting. So then we'll count the length of a blind loop. And the place is to the gallbladder site to prevent only axis torsion. So then connect it. Somehow in our center, why we like this operation? Because it skips the mid part of the small bowel. It preserves the proximal part. It's important for nutrition supply. It preserves the distal part. It censors the GLP secretion over there. It shortens small bowel and make the food pass through to the end quicker. And you don't have to face the dumping issue because it's an intact sleeve. So there's no dumping, should be. There's dumping there. You actually sometimes got dumping, but you don't have to face a major effect of a back dumping issue. And you make a small bowel shorter, but I think another thing for how long small bowel you should keep, I think is the art. So again, if in the future you want to try this operation, you must decide the length depending on your country. So theoretically, it's not difficult. You do sleep, you out exhausted, and then you shorten the small bowel. Actually, it's not a very difficult operation for general surgery surgeon, I think. So after the closure and anastomosis, then we close the defect on mesentery. So just use the VLOC, suture it, then finish. So let's say since I want to share is about the operation here. That's our daily routine because in last year we do around 800 cases. Our center 90% of this operation, in another 10% revisional surgery. So again, I think this kind of thinking, this kind of operation may do some help for your future practice. Okay, I think that's my talk.
Thank you very much. So, before we take the questions from the floor, your limb length from ileocecal valve, has it evolved or you always did that and you learned from some malabsorptions? Because in all other operations, people have evolved to a happy medium. So, what was your journey on that?
Sorry, please ask. Sorry.
So the bowel that you count from ileocecal valve,
Yes,
to the point, how much length your
150. So in Taiwanese, we keep 150 from beginning, 150 from the end. In the mid part, skip it. That it become a blind loop.
so okay.
So for ideal, the patient got 3 meters bowel length for the rest of their life.
Okay.
I think something good is all about still remain inside. Once you face something wrong, you need a bowel, you could go back and put it back.
And you didn't have any malnutrition with 150?
Actually, for the revisional case, we will leave the total small bowel length at 250. For revisional case, the patient have sleep before and come for the revisional surgery. Because we found if you keep your duodenum intact, 2.5 meter is sufficient in Taiwanese.
Okay, thank you.
Sir, excellent presentation. I just wanted to ask, any incidence of small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, because you are technically leaving a blind pouch inside, blind loop inside, sorry.
Sorry.
Any experience with small intestinal bacterial overgrowth?
No. It's a very interesting question. As I said, from the Munir, the report for the recent 20 years, he did, and we met it several times. He did not report and he said no. And we do it in Taiwan for more than 10 years. No blind, no diarrhea. So I think the axis we create, the small bowel bypass, is quite important because the food will not go back. No residual food go into a blind loop, but there's no bacterial overgrowth. So I think that the reason we don't have this kind of situation.
Okay, any more questions? Well, thank you very much for this fascinating talk. Round of applause.